Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Honor to him, the blessed one, the worthy one, the fully enlightened one. My utmost respect to the perfectly enlightened Sammasambuddha, the noble doctrine of the Buddha, and the noble Mahasangha, the disciples of the Buddha. Dear Dhamma friends, welcome to the lecture 2 of our guest lecture series. Under this weekly guest lecture series, we will cover up more current and modern topics related to Buddhism to help benefit our community around the world. I believe this effort by DHAMMA USA is going to help the community to apply Buddhist teachings in a more practical level. Today, we have invited another distinguished person to this special guest lecture series. Our guest lecturer today, who has kindly accepted our invitation to talk about a series of Dhamma sharing, is a medical doctor specializing in cardiology and Buddhist practitioner as well as a mediator. Our guest lecturer prefers to stay with no formal introduction, and I respect her for her choice to remain that way. Good evening and greetings to you, Doctor, and welcome to this special guest lecture series on behalf of DHAMMA USA. How are you doing today?
Doing well. And thank you so much for inviting me. And I would also like to thank Venerable Sumitra for the invitation. Thank you.
Today's topic is practical steps to the path of Nibbana. This is part 1 of 4 lectures that she has kindly volunteered to conduct in order to benefit our DHAMMA USA community. Please mark your calendar every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time to get more benefited from this guest lecture series. Kindly check with DHAMMA USA YouTube channel, Facebook page, and groups for more updates. I'm sure you're going to enjoy this topic today about practical steps to the path of Nibbana. I would like to invite to continue with the remaining 3 lectures as well to be more benefited. Please post your questions in the comment sections of DHAMMA USA YouTube channel so that our guest lecturer can answer them at the end of the talk. Without further ado, let me invite our guest lecturer to start her presentation on practical steps to the path of Nibbana.
Theruvan Saranai. So today we'll be discussing about the practical steps we have to take to attain Nibbana. And before we embark on this journey, I just wanted to touch base and kind of remind ourselves, why do we want to do this? Why do we want to attain Nibbana? And that's mentioned in the Four Noble Truths. We all know, if we think about our own life, we are constantly in stress and we constantly suffer. And throughout our life, whether we try to get an education, get married, get a good job, we are doing all these things because we do not like to suffer, and we are hoping that it will eliminate suffering. But every day, you, me, everyone in this world is constantly experiencing sadness and suffering. So the Lord Buddha shared with us the ultimate Four Noble Truths, where he outlined why we are suffering like this, how to end this suffering, and the exact steps that we need to take. And today's lecture, this is the first one of 4 parts. I'm going to share with you the practical steps we need to take. And these are steps you could take today. I will not be focusing on the deep theoretical aspects of Buddhism because I want to share the real, true, practical steps we can take. So let's start with 6 pearls of wisdom. The time to embark on this journey is now. We never know what tomorrow brings. And, we might be dead tomorrow for all we know. So the time to embark on this journey is today. And no matter what you do in life, you have to stay focused, be determined, and persevere. And this is one thing, and I will share these pearls of wisdom with you as we go along. One thing I personally experienced, which is you have to have some element of desire to attain Nibbana, to embark on this journey. But if it gets too extensive and you get this intense desire to attain Nibbana, it causes a restlessness in your mind and prevents you pursuing the path. So constantly keep an eye on yourself, because you do need a little bit of desire to embark on this journey, but not too much. So keep an eye on yourself. You have to be patient with yourself. You can only take one step at a time. And dear friends, we can attain Nibbana. Please do not listen to anyone who says that we cannot. Because think about it. I think Venerable Ajahn Chah said in one of his books, everyone who has attained Nibbana has been a human being just like you and me. So there is absolutely no reason to think that we cannot attain Nibbana. So please remember that and do not listen to naysayers. And at the end of these 4 parts, lectures, you will realize that it is common sense. And this is one thing I have learned, and that is when you are contemplating, and I'll share with you the practical steps on how to contemplate probably in part 2 and 3 and 4. But I have personally realized that it's best to contemplate in your own native language. Because remember, we are not here to learn a new exotic language. We are here to attain Nibbana, which is actually a training of our mind. So I personally think it's best to contemplate in your own native language. In my opinion, and you will understand it, I will outline this as 3 steps that we have to take. The very first step you have to take is learn and know the syllabus, just like when we were doing in school. So you have to know the syllabus and also know the subjects and the concepts. So that will be the first step. And the second step, the slide is not very good, but basically you have to know not only the specifics, but also the extensive study of that concept so that it's very clear in your mind. So whatever the concepts, they need to be clear. This is the second step. So now we will go through the theoretical aspect. Then Lord Buddha said, you need to not trust what I say. You need to look at it and see whether what was being said is the truth. And how do we do that? We have to be like scientists and observe our own mind and confirm the accuracy of the steps that you learned. So basically, step 1 is you learn the theory. Step 2 is you be like a scientist and observe your own mind, and you confirm the accuracy of the concepts you learned. And then, unlike any other scientific experiment you had done, this time we have only one tool to do this experiment, and that tool is our own mind. So, just like, let's say you were trying to do an experiment with a magnifying lens, you had to get it really cleaned. And the same way, we have to train our mind to be the best tool it can be. And that means a mind that is calm and focused. So that's the second step. And with that calm mind, you start observing your own mind. And then you contemplate about what you observed and confirm the accuracy of the theoretical concepts that you had gained. So this is step 2. You are being like a scientist. Step 3. Step 3 is, now that you have A, learned the theory, B, looked at your own mind and confirmed, yep, this is accurate, what is being said is accurate, then we have to retrain our mind to see things as they truly are. So that is the third step, retraining of our mind. Now, how do we retrain our mind? Well, there is only one way in this world to retrain a mind, and that is by repeated contemplations. Sir, is there a way to, I don't think there is a way to, okay, good. So when we are retraining our mind, I told you that we do it by repeated contemplations. Now, let's talk about that. Now, this is part of Western medicine that I'm trying to share with you to show how we retrain our mind. So basically, we are going to discard old habits and old ways of thinking and replace them with a new habit and a new way of looking at the world. So this is the third step. So number 1, we learn the theory. Number 2, we did the experiment ourselves and looked at our own mind. Number 3, we start retraining our mind with repeated contemplations. So if you think of a jungle and if you think of a path in a jungle, if a lot of people start walking on that path will become very clear, right? So let's say you decide to create a new path. What do you have to do? You have to close this path, prevent anyone walking on that path, and get everyone to walk on this new path. So if you do that, what will happen is that path will become clearer. Simple, common sense. In our brain, we have these unusual cells. They are very specific. And what they do is they connect with each other and they create neural pathways, just like in this forest path. And the more we walk on this path, the more we practice something, those paths become very clear. So on this diagram, you can see that well. The more you carry out a certain task, a behavior, a way of thinking, that becomes stronger and stronger and stronger, and the old pathways die off. So this is why repeated sessions of contemplation is required. So, in other words, the more you practice, the better you get. Common sense. So, to summarize, what we are trying to do is train our mind to see things as they truly are. And yes, we can attain Nibbana, but you have to be determined, be patient, and please do not listen to naysayers. Again, to recap what we learned, we first have to learn the theory. So we call it know the mind. Next, you have to actually perform the experiment and start observing your own mind, which we can say see the mind. And finally, we have to retrain the mind. And once we have completely retrained our mind, we attain Nibbana. So, it's like any journey that we embark on, there will be a beginning, a middle, and an end. Whether you are going from one town to another, you have to know where you are going. Otherwise, you might end up somewhere else. So likewise, in the path to Nibbana, there are 4 stages. So this is an overview that I'm doing so that we know where we are going. So there's 4 stages and all of you all are aware of that, which is in Sowan, Sakrudagami, Anagami, Arihat, or we call them in English stream enterer, once returner, non-returner, and Nibbana. So during this journey, at each stage, we will let go of certain chains that bind us. So they talk about 10 chains, and slowly at every stage, we will let go of a couple of these chains. So the first stage is Sowan or stream entry. In that stage, you will start and begin to understand 3 subjects. Now, I intentionally left these 3 words in the part 2, 3, and 4. We will spend a lot of time going and really understanding these words. It's anicca, dukkha, and anatta, or impermanence, stress and suffering, and no self. But please don't pay attention to the words. I want you to get the overview, which is at the level of stream entry, your understanding of these subjects will be minimal, about 25%. Then there is this concept of Sakkaya Ditthi, and we will spend actually quite a lot of time to understand this, but at the end of stream entry, you would have eliminated that concept called Sakkaya Ditthi. Just now, it's just a word, leave it that way. I'm going through the overview. Also, if you look back, since you have seen the mind, you are not going to have any doubt because it's something you have seen. It's not something that somebody has told you. You have seen it yourself. So there is not going to be any doubt. And then at the same time, the path will be so clear to you, and you will understand this by part 4. You won't be messing around and wasting your time on funny rituals and practices because you know what you have to do, because you have seen what has to be done. So, hence the reason by the time you are at the stream entry level, you would have achieved all these 3. So that is 3 chains. So now we have learned the theory and we have actually seen the mind, the hardest thing, once you see the mind completely and you enter stream entry level, and then this is the hardest thing, because this road that we've been carrying on is like a highway. We have to close that road and start going on a different path. As we go through this path with perseverance, determination, and focus, we will enter the next stage, which is Sakrudagami, or once returner. And what you will notice, and these are things you will notice, so you don't have to be asking people, because it will be very clear to you. And what will happen is your greed, your desires, they'll slowly start coming down. And it will be very evident to you. So it's really nothing that you have to question. Same way, if you were getting very angry often, you will notice that it's less now. So again, something that you will know. So you don't have to ask others about this. Third stage would be Sakrudagami. Again, now your understanding slowly will start going up. And then the third stage will be Anagami. So one, Sakrudagami, Anagami. What happens in Anagami is that we completely eliminate greed and desire. And then you will completely eliminate anger. And your understanding of these three topics, which we will go through at a greater depth, will be much better. And by then, you come to the fourth stage, which is Nibbana. What happens there? You will have a complete understanding of these three main subjects. So that is an overview. We will be going into much greater details as we go through this journey. When we attain Nibbana, we have trained our mind to see things as they truly are. Your mind will be calm. It will no longer be restless. And your mind will not start comparing yourself with others. And also, desires to be reborn will completely disappear. So those are the 10 fetters that we will get overcome once we attain Nibbana. So, to summarize, just like any other journey, we have to first start by getting ready. And you do that by being the best person you can be. And we will be talking about that next. The second thing we have to do is to start training our mind to be the best tool, because it's the mind that we will use to observe our mind. And then as we go through this journey, the three main subjects that we talked about, our understanding of it will slowly start going up. And then on the fourth stage, which is when we attain Nibbana, we will have a complete understanding of these subjects. And by then, we would have broken all 10 chains that bind us. So, now let's talk about the practical steps. That was just an overview. And in our practical steps, the very first thing we have to do is to be the best person you can be. Or we call it Sila. Okay? Being the best person you can be. Now, a couple of simple concepts before we talk about that. We all know, if we pause for a moment and look at ourselves, we will know that we have a body. Everybody can see that. And then we think. So we obviously have a mind. So we have two parts, which is a mind and a body. A very, very, very important concept. So please remember this picture. We have two main parts, a mind and a body. And actually, we are just like robots. I will explain in a second. But if you look at a robot, what do we see? We see something like an eye, and then data comes in, goes through this equipment that looks like the eye, and goes into the processor. And something that looks like an ear, data will come through and will enter the processor. And what does the computer processor do? It will analyze this data according to an algorithm and make conclusions. And then using another algorithm, it will set up a set of actions. So for example, in this robot, there's things that looks like legs. So maybe it will get it to walk. So now with that understanding, let's look at our body. What do we have? Well, we also have little equipment that gets data from the outside world. What are they? Well, we have eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin, right? For now, let's just look at those. In the Buddhist philosophy, the mind is also considered a sense organ, but we will be talking about that in part 2. But for now, let's just focus on the most obvious stuff. So these sense organs, they get data, and what do? They send it through the body to the mind. And what does the mind do? Well, the mind interprets that data, and then it will send messages back to the body and get the body to carry them out, right? So we have sense organs that brings data, and then that data enters the mind. The mind is the one that interprets the data, a very important concept. It's the mind that interprets the data and creates the actions, the thoughts and the actions. So if you look at it in a very simplistic way, we can only do 3 things. It's unbelievable, but that's all we can do. What are those? Number 1, we can think. Number 2, our mind can instruct the body, and thereby we can speak. And finally, our mind can instruct the body to do certain physical activities. So think, speak, physical activities. That's all we are capable of doing. So what does learning to be the best person you can be really mean in a Buddhist philosophical sense? What it means is we have to teach our mind certain principles so that the mind stops creating certain actions that are detrimental to us and the world. The thing that is the basic precepts are the 5 precepts. So let's look at it in this way. So the first precept is you avoid killing or hurting anything that is alive. What does that really mean? It means the mind should not tell the body to carry out certain actions. Number 2, avoid taking anything that does not belong to you. Same concept. It's the mind that has to instruct the body not to do certain things. Avoid sexual misconduct, same concept. Avoid telling a lie. Use your speech to hurt others or waste your time gossiping. What are these? These are all to do with speech. So that's the next one. Avoid taking intoxicating substances as they will affect your judgment. Try to find a job that does not harm others. What are those? And it's amazing. Similar to what happens in the world just now, you should avoid jobs that trade in poisons, guns, trading people, intoxicants, etc. So try to find a job that does not hurt others. And now this is a mind task, which is be kind, be compassionate, share your wealth and your knowledge with fellow human beings. This is very critical. You do not compare yourself with others. You compare yourself with the person you were yesterday and try to be a better person today. So your comparison is only with yourself. This is very important because associating with good friends, friends that will help you, nurture you, and also help you to achieve your final mission of attaining Nibbana. So friends are critical. I read in one sutra where they said that this is like the most important thing. And as I am going through this journey, just like you, I am finding that out too. Friends are critical. And we call them Kalyana Mitrayo. So we spent some time talking about the concepts of the 5 precepts. But as you read the literature, it's amazing. Lord Buddha had also mentioned we have to take care of our body too, because if our body is not well, we cannot go on this journey. So some of this is medical and others is Buddhist literature. So this is critical in this day because none of us are getting enough sleep. So please make sure that you get enough sleep. And if you are exhausted, super stressed, it's important to sleep for a longer period of time and get your body to be its healthiest form. Eat healthy food. Vegetarian, there is a lot of data now coming out, is good for you, and actually it makes you feel better. And that's a first-hand information I can share with you. And again, if you eat a whole bunch, you feel so uncomfortable. It's important to eat small, frequent meals. Drink plenty of water and avoid stimulants and alcohol and drugs that can affect your judgment. So we talked about taking care of our body. Part 2, we will devote to the mind, but there's a couple of things I want to share along in the same trend. Why? Because the mind is the primary tool we'll be using. So not only should we have a healthy body that is ready to go on this journey, it is important to have a mind that is not like a stormy ocean. And I will be using this slide over and over again because this is so critical. In a stormy ocean, you cannot see anything. So we want a mind like a calm lake these days. And I know this firsthand, we get stuff from everywhere. So please look at your life and see are there any responsibilities that you can eliminate? And is there a better way of stopping all this craziness coming at you. So reduce responsibilities, learn the art of being frugal, learn the art of being happy with what you have, and get away from stressful environments, because at the end of the day, if you are like this, there is no way that you can embark on this journey. So this is very critical, and I urge you to look at your life so that you can adjust and make changes. These days, the TV, digital media, they all mess us up. So again, look at your life objectively and figure out, how can I have a mind that is like a calm lake and not a stormy ocean? Clutter in our homes really makes us get unnecessary data coming into our body. So a clutter-free environment is important. Again, it may not be practicable. So try to have even a small area that is clutter-free and where you feel safe, very critical. So have an environment, at least even in a tiny area of your home. This is a practical thing that I can share with you. There is so much coming at us these days. In order to have a calm mind, there are times that you have to let out your emotions. There's so much frustration, so much fear, so much sadness. This technique is called journaling. And what you do is you grab a piece of paper and keep writing down everything that's bugging you, making you mad. And then you tear that piece of paper into small pieces. Do not read it, do not share it, do not do anything with it, and throw it in the garbage. If you keep doing it, in about 3 weeks, you may have to write it over and over again. You will notice that your mind becomes calmer. So this is a very simple but a very effective technique that you could use. Another practical thing that I personally have noticed, you start out trying to, okay, I'm going to not have clutter, I'm not going to have too many responsibilities, but before you know it, all of a sudden, you're back doing all those old things, because old habits have a way of creeping back. Because if you really think about that story we talked about, the path in the jungle, well, guess what? This path is like a highway, so we tend to go there. So we have to make a conscious effort to not go there. So all these things that I shared with you, you have to be conscious about it, and actually you have to have an effort to go another path. Okay, we are almost there. I was trying to make it short and sweet so that you don't get bored. But this is something I have seen over and over again. So I really wanted to spend some time on this. Sometimes when you start reading and you think you know a lot, you forget the art of listening. So it's very important, as you go on this journey, you have to stay humble. Listen to other people's points of view, and then you can decide whether it's the truth or whether you're going to incorporate it into your practice or do something else. But stay humble. Don't try to think that that they don't have anything to contribute, and never stop learning. Since we have time, throughout as a medical doctor, I have taught medical students, junior doctors, how to examine patients. But at the same time, every day I learn from them too, because there may be a technique that they are using that's better than the one that I was taught when I was a medical student. So in your journey, it's important to talk to Kalyana Mitra or good friends, listen to sermons, read books, and keep learning. But at the same time, have this: is it useful for me? Can I incorporate this? Is my technique better, or is this technique better? These are decisions that you have to take, and you will only have that opportunity if you keep learning and contemplating with a purpose and a mission of attaining Nibbana. And this, I strongly personally believe this. It's very important that we help and nurture each other and not put down people. And at the same time, encourage them to start where they are and start on this journey today. Very important. So, let me summarize today's lecture. Number one, yes, we can attain Nibbana. It is all common sense, and we will discuss this in part 2, 3, and 4. And now I have homework for you. Really look at your life and see, how can I do better to take care of my body? What can I do to eat healthier? Am I getting enough sleep? Am I drinking enough water? Do I have too much going on in my life? And is my mind like a stormy ocean because I'm letting too much data come in, either via TV or social media, or too many people messing around? So all this is going to affect your body. So this week, until we meet again next Thursday, please, I want you to really objectively look at your life and then make a list of ways that you can do better. Don't try to do everything all at once. Just do one thing at a time and perfect it, and then move on to another part of your life. But these are very critical in starting this journey. Again, starting today, make a determination until next Thursday, you are not going to break your precepts. This is something that you can make a determination today. And one other thing, let's say you broke a precept. That's not the end of the world. At the next minute, you start making a determination that you are not going to break it again. So please don't let your mind play games with you and say, okay, I failed, so I won't be able to go on this journey. No. Next second, you can say, okay, this is the moment for the rest of my life. So I am going to focus on my journey and keep moving forward. Next part, we will be talking a lot about how are we going to get the mind to be the best tool it can be. Because no matter what, if you and I look at our mind, it's like a stormy ocean. So practically, how do we make it feel calm like this so that we can create the best tool for ourselves to go on this journey? So we take one baby step at a time. And today, what you are going to do as you embark on this journey is try to get your body to be the healthiest of its form. Reduce your responsibilities and try to get your mind to be calm from a practical point of view. And in our next part, we will talk about the actual first step you have to take, which is based on what we call the Satipatthana Sutra. I won't be using exotic words. I will be using normal, natural words that are familiar to us, but it is based on that. So how do we take that first step? That will be what we will be talking about. So we'll be talking about how to get the mind to be the best tool, and also what is the first step we will take, and as we go on this journey. So that's all for this week. And now if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. But I do want to keep it short so that you don't get tired. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for your presentation on practical steps to the path of Nibbana. It was very enjoyable.
Good.
I'm sure all of our Dhamma friends around the world were benefited today. We will take up your questions now, and we encourage you to post the questions through the Dhamma USA YouTube channel. Looks like there's a question from Alia. If a person has been living as a bad person, such as, for example, a murderer, rapist, or commit other crimes, will they still have the opportunity in their current life to attain Nibbana?
In my opinion, yes, because today is the first day of the rest of our lives. We can't change what we did in the past, but today, going forward, we can. And so the answer is a big yes. It's about starting today and starting on this journey today.
Okay, next question. Next question is from Ananda Mahinkanda. Number one, can you explain about Salabata para
Sila Parama. So yes.
present day? For example, in Sri Lanka, many people are seeking help from mythical figures like Hindu gods.
Yes. So I am going to look at it in a different way. If you really look at yourself, I cannot change you, and you cannot change me. But I can change myself, and you can change yourself. So never, hence the reason I put that there, as we go through this journey, you will see what is rational and what is common sense about training our mind. So, and you can make a determination what's helpful and what isn't. So it doesn't matter what others say, it doesn't matter what others do. What matters is you understanding what has to happen and you making up your mind as to what you need to do next. So Sila Pita Paramasa means you are not going to waste your time doing unnecessary things. Now, if I take a simple example, when we were in med school, we'll go to the library to study. Like, let's say we had a exam on surgery. We are not going to just walk into that library and start taking a history book and studying that, because the subject that we are interested in is surgery at that time. So basically, what you do is you have a mission, you are in control, and you study and pass the exam that you are planning to study for. So if someone else wants to do something else, that's fine. So Sila Bata Paramas, as we go forward, you will know what you have to do, and then you can decide for yourself. I hope that answers that question. Okay. Excellent questions. So basically, the question is, as a person who has studied the brain, is the brain a sensory organ, part of the mind? Okay. Again, I have learned Yes, I have dissected the brain, but if you really think about it from a very common sense point of view, every dead person has a brain, right? But there is no activity there. That's how we scientifically decide that somebody is dead. So, um, this is where the Buddhist philosophy has to be slightly separated from the Western medical part. We can use it up to a point, but after that, we do have to do our own meditation, and we do have to observe our own mind, and then you will see that it's not really the brain. It's a thing that we all have, as we think, we can see that as we meditate. So my personal opinion is consciousness or the mind doesn't have structure. That is my personal opinion, and you can form your own opinion after you meditated and learn the techniques of actually looking at your mind. To me, they look different, but I do not know the exact answer. And to be honest with you, on our path to Nibbana, what we are interested is training our thought process and training our mind. So it's kind of a sneaky way of saying, I really don't know the answer, but I do think the brain is not the mind. I think brain is a structural thing. The mind is something else. And you will see it as you meditate. And therefore, this question will become a moot point as you meditate. I hope that answered that question.
Another question, your thoughts on eating flesh, how it affects your mind and body.
Very good question. I'm going to answer it in two ways, actually, maybe three. Number one, from a Western medical, I'm a cardiologist, so point of view, it's not very healthy to eat meats because it does affect your health. So that's one reason that I would not eat meat. And personally, if you just do this test yourself, and just become like eat mostly vegetarian food for about 3-4 days, you will physically feel a lightness come over you. It's a physical phenomena, and you can experience. Again, don't listen to others, just do these things yourself and see what happens. So physically, because as we embark on this journey, it is important to have the best physique, best health we can have. So that's another reason why I would stay away from eating flesh. But we are in the path to train our mind. So if the only thing that's available to you is meat, well, you may have to eat that. So I don't think it'll prevent you from attaining Nibbana. But I do think from a physical point of view, it'll help you feel better, and therefore it'll help you on your path to Nibbana. So that's the answer for that.
Dhamma USA, yeah.
Yes.
Can you please explain Sakaya Diti little more clearly?
Yes. I will be spending about half of, maybe 1/4 of that explanation in part 4. It Unless we go step by step, the whole thing gets highly confused. Just like, you have to first learn the alphabet, then a few words, then a few sentences, and then you can read Shakespeare. So likewise, today was an overview, and step by step we will go, and we will, I promise you, by part 4 you will be an expert on what Sakaya Diti means. So that's for another day.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Um, Please join us for part 3 to 4. And at the end, I can guarantee you, you'll have a really good understanding of what you have to do. And it'll be all common sense. And that's the beauty of this. And there's nothing exotic. So please join us. And so you have homework. Today's homework is to be the best person you can be. And next week, I will share how to train your mind to be the best tool and actually start on this journey. So, yes, you will know at the end of part 4 how to get there.
I think, Doctor, there is another question. How to start my journey? No, sorry. How to start my journey to the stream entry or Sotapanna? Is
Yeah,
that also
that's the
part
one
four?
that I just answered that
Okay.
question.
Uh, Bawani question. I feel that people are different because of different minds.
You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. But these basic principles are true for all, then you have to contemplate about your own mind and see where you are and start from where you are and start that journey. Each human being is unique. I agree 100%. But these principles are common to us all. How you use them is up to you.
Good answer. As a lay person, how can I stay so focused to attain the Sotapanna during this life, despite our daily secular activities?
Yes. This is the actually the main reason I wanted to do this with y'all, because to be honest with you, we don't need a lot of time. What is happening to us is we haven't listened to anything from A to Z. Like, any exam we did, we started from the first chapter and slowly read through the whole book. So that's what I'm trying to do. This is part 1, where you are focusing on being the best person you can be. Next chapter, there's many chapters, and at the final chapter, you will have a very clear understanding. And yes, you can do it while you are working, while you are taking care of your kids. You can do it and you can get somewhere. And I can guarantee you that, but it's up to you. So, yes, we can. And this week, really focus on what we talked about and practically start making a list of how you are going to eat healthy, drink good water, and avoid intoxicants, follow the 5 precepts. Sleeping is so critical. So look at all those things, go back and look at them, make a list and adjust them so that you are ready for part 2 next Thursday.
Okay,
All
great. Thank
right.
you.
Mhm.
With that, Dhamma friends, we conclude today's guest lecture, and we look forward to meeting you with more interesting topics like this in the coming weeks. Please contact us if you have an interesting and useful topic. And we would also like to invite you if you are interested in joining us in this weekly guest lecture series. I would like to thank our guest lecturer for kindly accepting our invitation for this guest lecture series. May you always be well, happy, and healthy, dear doctor.
Thank you. Thiruvan Saranai.
Let us keep our palms together close to our heart and pray that by the power of all the dana, sila, bhavana activities that we all have performed during our lifetime and during our whole course of samsara, become one united power and may it share with all the celestial beings. May all the wonderful celestial beings, including respectful Brahmas and Devas, and all sentient beings receive this merit and share this merit and be well, happy, and healthy wherever they are. May all our departed ones also receive this merit and be well, happy, healthy, and safe wherever they are. May all of us be able to live life peacefully, comfortably, and with good health. May all of us and all sentient beings be able to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana, the absolute peace and happiness at the end of our samsara. Please keep your palms together close to your heart and say 3 times sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Bawatu sabha mangalam rakantu sabha dewata, sabha buddha nubawena sada soti bawantute. Bawatu sabha mangalam rakantu sabha dewata, sabha dhamma nubawena sada soti bawantute. Bawatu sabha mangalang rakantu sabha dewata, sabha sangha nubawena sada soti bawantute. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, everyone. We will see you all again next week and have a great evening.